people, welcome once again to the Party of One podcast, the actual play RPG podcast, where the gaming table is always set for two. I'm your host, as always, Jeff Stormer, and we are kicking off our 2026 season with a doozy of an episode. On this week's episode, we are sitting down with John Rogers for a game of Merger. You know John as the creator of Leverage and Leverage Redemption, also the Librarians, Jackie Chan Adventures, co-creator of Jaime Reyes, the Blue Beetle, writer of legitimately the only licensed run of Dungeons & Dragons comics that I've ever probably earnestly enjoyed, and the list goes on. Truly someone responsible for an astounding body of work, an astounding amount of which has touched and influenced me on a personal level, so as you can imagine, this is a bit of a dream episode for me. You can find more information about John's work, including a link to his Kung Fu Monkey newsletter, in the show notes. We sat down to play Merger, a single-player macrocosmic corporate horror role-playing game about trying to survive in a world of living, predatory corporations. And while, yes, trying to live in a world of massive predatory corporations is also just a description of being alive in 2026, in this case, it's also quite literal. Corporations in Merger are large, faceless, monstrous entities that span time zones and continents, gestalt organisms of millions of individuals. We made them, but they answer to no one, and they use us to reproduce, feed, and defend themselves. Your character can see what these corporate bodies for that they really are. They glimpse flesh in the cracks of cement, see eyes staring back at them in the conference room, and feel the blood under their feet as they walk between skyscrapers. This is a game about seeing the horrifying system for what it is and trying to navigate it nonetheless. It was a thrilling experience. You can find more information about Merger at notwriting.itch.io or check the show notes for more information. Finally, before we dive in, a special thank you to Christopher Byram, our newest backer on Patreon. Patreon backers get special access to bonus episodes such as Party of One Says Go Birds, our monthly live Party of One recording showcase done live in Philadelphia, as well as special side series like Party of One Plus One, which is our sequel series where we bring guests back to continue stories and dig deeper into the worlds that we create. Party of None, which is our spotlight on single-player RPGs, and Batman Bump in the Night, which is our monthly fan fiction Batman actual play podcast. You can find more information about that at patreon.com/JeffStormer. And with all that said, let's go ahead and throw it over to me in the past so that he can get started with the show. Take it past me. Thanks, future me. I am absolutely stoked to be sitting down today with John Rogers. John, thank you so much for coming on Party of One.
It is a pleasure to come on one of my favorite tabletop role-playing game podcasts.
I'm printing out the waveform of those words and hanging those above my desk.
Yeah.
I am delighted. I'm so excited to have you here. I am thrilled for the game that we're going to be playing today. Before we get into all of that good stuff, why don't you take a moment, talk to the audience at home about what you got going on you want them to know about?
Well, I've got a bunch of stuff that's NDA'd because in Hollywood, everything's a secret now.
Sure.
But, we just, we finished the most recent season, not last year. We don't know yet, of Leverage Redemption. We just finished the second season of the Librarians reboot, the second season of which will air on TNT sometime next year. And now I'm just developing a lot of stuff and hopefully next year doing my first graphic novel Kickstarter because I really want to kind of get back into that space without, I really love doing Blue Beetle and a bunch of other stuff I did, but at the end of the day, when you're at one of the big two, you're kind of moving the exhibits around in the comic, in the museum.
Yeah, sure.
So if you want to do some actual work, you got to own it. So yeah, play around that space. But for once, I find myself not wrestling with a shooting schedule in some horrible time zone, and hence have time to indulge in my favorite hobbies, which I'm sure anyone following me on Blue Sky will know, will see me occasionally just toss up something I find on Itch.io and then rave about it for like an hour. So, that's kind of what's, to keep from going too nuts about the politics and everything. That's what I'm doing.
You and me both. It is one of the things that I love about following you on Blue Sky is I using it to find cool, weird things that I have not yet stumbled across. And this is, I feel like I've said this a trillion times. I will be a broken record about this forever. The thing that is sick about hosting this show is this moment right here when I get to hear about a thing and go like, oh, that's so fucking cool. I'm so excited to hear. I cannot wait to learn more about the graphic novel Kickstarter. I can't wait to follow more of it. It's funny because I was talking about your work in 3 different Discord conversations at the same time last week, and I was like, this is a thing I need to mention on the podcast. Of just like all of the stories that you have created that like mean something, and being like, it's funny to be like in 3 conversations of talking about how much people are enjoying Leverage Redemption.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's just very blessed. I mean, we're hitting the conversation now where young writers are coming up to me and saying, like, Jackie Chan Adventures was a big part of my childhood. And I'm looking at them like, that can't be right. You're a full grown adult. And I was a full grown adult when I made that. None of this math works. But yeah, I mean, it is crazy to have young writers coming up and telling me, and that was, I mean, that is the good thing. The thing I've been lucky at is I've refused to be pigeonholed, much to my agent's horror. And whenever I find something cool or interesting, I go do it. And it's managed to keep me fed and allowed me to indulge in a lot of different nerd culture and a lot of different great audiences. And yeah, I'm very, very lucky.
It's an energy that I relate to very, very strongly. Is I do the shit that makes me excited. I do the things that make me happy, and I follow that. You gotta, if you're following that impulse where it goes, you're gonna end up in a lot of cool and interesting places.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a couple of gigs that I've done that are like, well, this is plainly the paycheck to pay for the other cool thing.
Sure.
But I've almost always regretted those, and the ones that I've chased, even if they haven't worked out, I've never regretted ever.
For sure. I mean, and that's like it's the, speaking of the compromises that you got to make to exist in a capitalist society.
Here we are. Smooth segue.
Relevant to the game that we're playing today. We are playing Merger, a single player macrocosmic corporate horror role playing game. I'm going to read this intro text. Welcome to the corporate body. Everyone thinks that you are a headhunter, a fixer, an employee of the vast law firm Kane and Weaving. You solve difficult problems and you attend to your company's various needs across time zones and countries. Nothing on Earth is more powerful than the corporation. There's nothing that they cannot know. No hidden thing they cannot see. Not a single piece of this world they cannot buy. And then one day, you saw your company for what it really was. You are not an employee. You are the cell of an immense being, a superior form of life made up of millions of people, an unintentionally constructed predator, the only form of life that can live across spans of time and space all at once, and unlike anything else on this planet. It is not your job to solve problems. It is your assigned function within the corporate body to steal, kill, and spy, to make your host more powerful than the others. You feed it, you defend it, you break barriers so it can grow. What you have seen cannot be unseen. You cannot leave, you cannot stay. If the work doesn't kill you, the corporate body will. It will stare back at you, eat you up, and shit you out. Now get back to work.
Oh man! In a time of like corporate takeovers in Hollywood, this isn't overwhelmingly appropriate at all. Yeah.
I was gonna say this hitting anything for you? Does this feel like a far off fantasy picture?
Not at all. I'm super pleased to be working for any of the many very rich men I may be working for in the near future. All good.
You and me both. It's funny because like I pitch. I always make sure to like pitch like 4 or 5 games. I'm like, I want to kind of give a range of options and vibes, and I included this on the list. And as I did so, I kind of looked at it on the list and I was like, this is the one we're gonna play.
Yeah, I mean, I almost picked another one just so I would be kind of just hacky. But when you have a brand, you have a brand, and that brand again has kept me fed for a while. So I'm gonna go with it. Also, I really found the rules interesting. Yeah.
The rules are interesting, and also, like, part of the magic of the show is, like, allowing us to lean into our bullshit in the most direct and overt way possible, and that's this. We nailed it. We've wrapped it up. So, let me ask you this. Like, where's your head at as you sit down to play? Like, what are you most looking forward to? What are you excited about? Like, what are you bringing to the table as we start to, like, visualize character and world and unfurl some weird capitalism horror?
It's so weird because I'm kind of the eternal GM for my group. I did not start that way. I played in like a 7-year campaign thing the first time with the group because they already had it running, and then I took it over as a break. And then because I'm just in it, everyone else had kids at their time, and I'm an inveterate systems tinkerer. So I was like, let's do Savage Worlds. Now let's do Shadow of the Demon Lord. All right, now a version of Savage Worlds and Blades in the Dark I've cooked up in my basement, and just kind of slightly through. So when I have to think about, like, when I'm a player, the thing I love most about being a player, and I've written about this, is I love being the sidekick character. Like, I do
Mm-hmm.
not want the main story of the campaign around me. I do not want, like, you are the special child of destiny. I
Sure.
100% want to be the grizzled sergeant in Zulu. Like, wow, what a great, interesting character. He's there to do a job, say funny stuff, may perhaps facilitate some catharsis. But, that's it for me, because part of me really is I want to, and the other thing for me is want to find the guardrails of a system. Like, what's the most interesting thing I can do in this system?
Sure.
And it's tricky because, playing around with something like Boundless on HEO or, versions of Cthulhu Dark,
Mm-hmm.
or Fate, which I did a lot of writing for Fate, when it was kind
Sure.
of at the height of its powers. And you can find Will Wheaton and Felicia Day and I playing Fate on YouTube if you go look. There's like, I love descriptive, winging it um, games. But at the same time, I read something like Daggerfall or something. I'm like, this is just an elegantly executed set of rules.
Yeah.
Like, I could never do this, but I love how contained within the world and organic your world would feel if you played within
Sure.
this, even more so than D&D, I think. So yeah, I mean, I'm always torn. I'm always kind of going back and forth, always looking for the perfect system, always trying to spot weld the perfect system together. So I love playing new games to see what it does. I really just love seeing what the game does.
I feel really similarly. I have talked elsewhere about this, but like I I love a good like free form bounce around play pretend storytelling experience, but I also like if games and rule sets and systems are toys, I like playing with a toy. Like I like breaking the toy, I like playing with the toy, and I like seeing what a mechanic will do and interpreting it on its own terms is like an incredibly unsurprising given that I've done this podcast for 10 years, but like
I love? I love just unity of design. I just love,
yeah,
because there's so many games that, God bless them, have been around for 20 or 30 years. It's a mature hobby now. And you
mhm,
can just feel the accumulated kludge of all those
sure,
additions and all those years. And I just love, even when subsystems go, you know what, this is really just a variation of another system you've seen. And you go, yes, thank you. Because that way I can feel my way through something weird my players do that isn't within the rules, and I prefer that.
totally.
But yeah,
I
but
agree.
also just tone. I love a tonally, like, Blades is great that way. Cthulhu Dark is great that way.
Mhm.
Like, what game you're in. You will not wander afar from it. Shiver is really great with that, although that kind of allows you to play pretty much any horror game you want. But you know what you're doing. You know where you're hanging out. Mutants and
Yeah.
Masterminds was like that. Even as a D20 game, like, you're not playing. There was an Iron Age expansion for Mutants and Masterminds. It's like, no, man, you're playing Silver Age superheroes. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
a lot of the PBTAs are 100% just like, just tone, with
Mhm.
the mechanics jammed in, to make it work. So I love that too. I love, like, hearing an authorial voice in a game.
Yeah. Oh, I love I that's one of the biggest things that I'm looking for when I play games these days is like, do I feel like because like yeah, it's when the game transitions from like I'm deep in the mechanics, deep in being a mechanic sicko to transitioning to like we're just vibing and playing
Yeah.
pretend is when I've got that authorial voice that I can go, okay, I feel the vibe. Everything else can fall away if I've got the vibe that I can bounce around in.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So we've got you've rolled some character stuff up.
Yeah.
Let's talk about who your corporate drone is.
Well, it's interesting because I didn't know how much time you want to spend, and we can certainly go through it. But the dice kind of gave me, so I just rolled for a name, and I got the name. So the idea is this guy is in the corporation, and he has
Mhm.
unfortunately discovered the truth, and we are
Yeah,
very much in. Is it in Adoru that William Gibson does the if an alien came to Earth, they would assume the dominant life form was the corporation?
I think so. I
Or
believe so.
it's Light. I can't remember what Burning Light. I can't remember which one. And then Charlie Strauss, of course, has that great thing about corporations are big dumb AIs.
Mhm.
That is, again, so I love the vibe of this game. So the name I rolled randomly is Charlie Royce, and I just like that. It feels
It's a
good.
good name.
Royce, yeah.
It's a good name.
For skills, you have skills, items, bond, and vice in this game. For skills, you roll on tables to get them. You roll 2d6, which is a lovely mechanism. The first one I got rolled a 5 for a rare skill, and then the 3 on that was finesse for 6. And I'm not sure what finesse, of all this, the only one I'm kind of fuzzy on, what is exactly finesse? Is it physical finesse? Is it subtlety? Where are we thinking here? Looking at that list of skills in the game.
I kind of even want to throw this. I mean, I know where my brain immediately goes, especially given like the tone of a lot of the skills that are on this list. My brain immediately goes to just like style, panache, that person that can effortlessly flip the cigarette out of the holder.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's where my brain immediately goes.
Yeah, because I don't think it's like you're a thief. I don't think that shit's happening.
No, I think it's just you carry yourself especially well.
Yeah, and you can handle difficult social situations and extract information. Yeah, the one I got 5 and then a 1 finances on a D6, which makes sense. And then yes, third skill is customer service.
Great. I love that customer service is a skill on here. That good. The vibe is strong.
Yeah, exactly. E4. Then on items, you get an encrypted phone. Again, you roll on a table 2d6 to get you there. Encrypted phone at a d4, and all of your items and skills, just talking the audience through, have dice ratings. A D4. Family name is what I got for one of the items, like the benefit of family name.
Family name is great.
Name as in your family helped start this corporation. Like that is, you are part of the family that started the corporation.
All right, D6. Making a note of that.
And then items, I got the third item I got was a bodyguard. At D6. And, pardon me. Yeah, no, that family name. So but that's not where that your family started this corporation. My bond, roll a 6, a rare, and then 1 on that, was also family. So I got family name and items and family as my bond. So what this leads me to, I'm going to say that, did you watch the Netflix show, The Gentleman?
No, I didn't.
So Theo James is sort of an aristocrat's son who's gone off to join the military. And his father dies and he comes back and he discovers that the way his father's been keeping the estate afloat he's been letting weed dealers grow in a secret lab on the giant sprawling estate. And so it's basically this comedy series, this very dark comedy series about how an aristocrat with military skills is exactly what you need to like survive in the modern drug war in England as different factions try to move in. And that very much, because I got a bodyguard here, is like, for me, this is what this character is feeling like Charlie Royce. The Royce family is super well known. It's a big business family. It's one of the families that started this corporation. He was the appointed boy. He's the favorite son. He went off and worked other places, finally brought in, like he's done his time in the other companies and finally brought in to work in this corporation, and then saw the nature of it. And now is, damned to know. And then for Vice, weirdly, I got a rare Vice, faith at a D6. Moralizing conviction, believing the world doesn't have to be like this. How long can you exist like this? So I think that's interesting is he went out, he was leading his life, he got dragged back into the family business. He saw the corporation. Now he's like, do we really have to serve the corporation? Is this really what we have to do? And even if it is, and I think that's one of the interesting things the Gentleman does, where it's like, there's really no way out of this. It's like, you can at least do it on your terms.
For sure.
And I think that's all great anti-hero noir stories are sort of like, look, you're in a bleak world. No, all you can do is live according to your principles. Whatever. So, and I will say my bodyguard, 100% since he's there. I'm gonna call him Eddie, and I'm gonna say Eddie. My family has a thing where they take criminals and they give them early parole and they come work for the family, so they're completely beholden to the family. So, like Eddie was sort of a meth dealer enforcer, and now we've cleaned him up and put him in a suit. But that's the guy who's with me all the time. So that's like, I won't do violent. Eddie's there, and he's respectable looking and good looking and looks good in a suit, but never forget, like Eddie 100% killed the guy with a hammer in a trailer park,
Yeah, right. Great. This is great. This is joyful for me as the GM here to set up scenarios that the really smorgasbord that you've handed me of little things to throw in and pepper in is truly incredible.
I will admit also I'm 100% when I do play in either one shots or campaigns, I'm like, look, here's my characters, the weird little habits and obsessions. Do with them what you will. I do not need the campaign arc based around this. But I
Yeah,
would,
sure.
I would like the opportunity every now and then to do X. And
For
to
sure.
me, that those facilitate playing that way.
For sure. I've got a lot of things. I got a lot of paints on my palette to play with as we start to
Cool.
envision, working your way through. So the arc of the game, this is an interesting game because it's played in a very specific narrative arc, and we'll play through a number of scenarios. We'll fill the time, but the way that it works is that we have a number of corporations in front of us, a number of corporate bodies, a number of these overwhelming entities across space and time. And you're going to work your way through each of them, negotiating or undermining or trying to navigate as Kanan Weaving slowly absorbs each of these entities within its own merger. As that happens, you're going to face off against a number of encounters and scenarios that I'm going to put in front of you. We probably won't get to the entire thing, but the goal of the game is to work towards the eventual confrontation with Kanan Weaving, your corporate body as it becomes the most powerful on the planet, and then decide where it lands. We might speed run it and just do one encounter per corporation, or we might just go work our way through one corporation. We'll play it by ear. But to begin, we start with MEAT. MEAT, acronym MEAT, has a history of buying pharmacies, drug companies, smaller corporate bodies, and emerging them within its sort of broader self. MEAT has hired Kanan Weaving and your character to cover up controversial business decisions. Little do they know Kanan Weaving will use these secrets to secure their own merger with MEAT. Talk to me about what Charlie's office looks like, day-to-day routine looks like. What does it look like when you get the word through that you have been tapped to negotiate the merger between MEAT and Kanan Weaving? What does it look like? And then I can kind of introduce what I envision as these corporate bodies.
I think that he's already in the ground because Kane and Weaving own a series of hotels and high-end apartment buildings in different countries. So he has an identical apartment in each one of the major cities. Mm-hmm. And so it's basically, it is professionally decorated. There's a piano he never plays. Mm-hmm. There's a beautiful view of the city that's lovely during the day and even more beautiful at night. There is a bedroom that's too big for one guy. And there's even, it's to the point where he has identical clothing in the closets. He doesn't even travel with luggage. Right. He just flies oh, you got to go to Berlin. All right. He gets on a plane and goes to Berlin, and his stuff is there. All he has on him is his father's fountain pen and his grandfather's watch. And literally everything else is just, and his passport. That's it. Everything else is identical in these different cities. Because this role because we did family, he was meant to step into it. You know? And so that's it. It's basically whatever city the MEAT headquarters is in, he's in that hotel having, been given a giant sheaf of paper and documents and secrets, and sort of got that all spread out on the kitchen counter along with the laptop, just doing his due diligence.
I like this. And I think the visual that I want to throw in, that I think as I think about the nature of these corporate bodies, and also I think about the specific capitalist trends in the last few years that especially piss me off, of which there are a few, I think it's safe to say. Yeah. The thing that I think I want to throw in is I love the visual of glitz and glamour. And I think there's a camera trick as you're walking through these glamorous hotels. We get the rotating camera, and as it passes along Charlie, as we see the visual, we see the world both like as it is presented, these like highly glamorous, beautiful skylines, and then we see the world as it is, which is just like the bleakest and grayest of like massive brutalist architecture. Like every room that we walk into, we get these glimpses of like it's glamorous and there's bright lights and there's people in like gorgeous suits and dresses. And then like the camera does a 180 and comes back around and it is all just like busted like old gray skyline warehouses full of like old musty concrete of just like these entities are they present a glamour of glamour, but it is also just a hollow gray shell that like when you are exposed to it, it's all that you can see sometimes.
I wonder if we're a little in They Live territory, where
a little
basically bit. Like, or both, it's become made this the Society of the, is it Baudrillard Society of the Spectacle, or is it the guy whose name begins with a D?
That's a good question.
It is actually Guy Debord. It's not Baudrillard, but you can understand my confusion.
Yep. Yeah.
But yeah, like it's basically. Like Charlie, when he's at the window, if he just puts his hand on the glass and closes his eyes and concentrates for a minute and opens them, he can see the horrible world. Because the illusion of the glitzy world is for everybody. Like that's so you don't become angry and despairing. Mm-hmm. If you actually said to people like, look, the only way you can function and succeed in this world is become a mid-level celebrity, that would be insane. That would drive you mad, but not if it seems like everyone can. So
I like that. I really like that.
So basically, that's it. Everybody who finally sees the corporation forever sees both the glitzy matrix that the people are see, and they see the hollowed out capitalist leech dry shell that they walk through.
Good shit. So you have arrived at this like hotel warehouse, and you have been given like a job to facilitate this overwhelming merger under the guise of covering up some controversial business decisions. Yeah. The encounter that we are going to start on here is Meat is being sued by a government. I think that the situation is partially like there is.
What do they do? Pharmaceuticals? They do food and pharmaceuticals, right?
Food and pharmaceuticals. Patented medicines, unethical experimentation, drug price fixing. Meat, in this case, I think it is like thinking again of just like what's been in the news lately. Not to date for when this episode drops or when it releases, but like they shipped a tremendous amount of a supplement that, as it turns out, has a just high enough amount of if we're gonna go big, we got to go as big as possible. Like not a 0% of uranium, but like higher than 0, which is immediately not great when you're like distributing it as a health supplement.
Yeah.
And I think that's the situation that this government is investigating, and like how has Charlie been tapped to deal with this?
Well, Charlie has been tapped to deal with this by finding a fall guy that the company can cut loose and say, that this is 100% this guy's decision in the chain. And I think his additional mission is to make sure that person's highly placed enough to weaken the company so that Kane and Weaving's takeover is more effective.
That feels great.
So, I'm in a very slow horses position where I need them to believe I'm here to help you find a fall guy. And my other agenda is I need to make sure that fall guy is actually high enough that it will hurt you.
Great. God, that rips. Okay. I'm going to roll some dice to determine how difficult this is going to be, and then I'm going to use that to color the situation. So how that works is when you're building an encounter, you roll a dice for the encounter. So I've got a D8. And then you roll a dice. Every corporation is also tied to a dice size. So I'm going to roll 2d8, and that's going to give us our difficulty.
So the people listening, each company has a difficulty, and then each situation within the company has a difficulty. And then you roll to get that total.
the number that I have in front of me, the difficulty that you're looking at is a 10, which is kind of like right down the middle.
Right down the
I
middle.
think that this is I think this is difficult because like meat is they've absorbed a lot of companies, and so it has the structure of a little bit of a hydra. Like there's a lot of sub companies. There's a lot of like smaller dev teams and smaller testing teams. And I'm actually the CEO of this subsidiary of this subsidiary of this subsidiary of meat. Like there's a chain here, and it's going to be tough to find the person that's going to be the fall guy who is high enough up that chain that the Hydra is not simply going to shed its neck and grow another head in its place.
Yeah, fair enough. Now, do I use one thing from each category, or can I use as many of these skills and items I think?
You can, in reading the text, I went back and forth on this. I think you can use whichever traits are going to be helpful in getting you over the finish line.
Yeah.
Because you're going to assemble your traits. Hold on, let me grab you're going to assemble your traits and roll all of the associated dice. Your goal is to double my result. So a full success is rolling a 20. If you roll between a 10 and a 20, that is a mixed success, and under a 10 is a failure.
Wow, 20's high. Okay. So I think that this is the setup, the traits to use the first time. I'm going to get I got an index card. I love this. I always have a ton of index cards when I play.
Love this.
I'm going to use finances, which is at a D6, to pull apart the corporate structure of me to find the right person. I'm going to use my family name because Royce is a well-established corporate family. I'm going to use that to set up to host a party that I get a bunch of executives to come to. And then so I can get not just the financial version, but I can essentially figure out like who's a drunk, who's weak, who's cheating on who has enemies. I don't think customer service applies here in any way, shape, or form. I would say finesse applies here because what I want to do
you're
is set
executing
up a
party, I think.
Yeah, but also I want to set up a meeting once I uncover my guy. I want to set up a meeting and make it be very charming and very smooth and like, look, your company has a lot of problems. I think you and I are 100% could be the guys to figure this out.
That's great. That rips.
So, why don't you meet me? And the other thing I want to use finesse for, and I'm only using it once, but is also I want to get the evidence that they did something wrong in a document. Like I want to get it basically in a briefcase.
You want a paper trail? Sure.
I want a paper trail. So that's what I'd say. The subtlety of the scheme is kind of the finesse there. I'll use the encrypted phone to call him because I don't want any of this traced. And then this is kind of brutal, but we're just living in it. I'm going to use bodyguard because we want a clean trail here. So I'm going to invite this guy to a meeting in order to figure out what to do. And I am going to have Eddie kill him. And leave the paper trail with him and let the police handle it. And so basically the whole story will come out is this guy was obviously on the take or corrupt. Here's the paper trail that he was responsible. Obviously he was double-crossed and murdered by the people he was playing against. He was obviously betraying this company. This company is plainly blameless because this guy was responsible. So this ends with me setting up a meeting with kind of a feckless, well-intentioned executive and just whacking him in a warehouse by the docks and making a call to the cops using the encrypted phone. So
that feels great. That feels so good.
So it feels genuinely awful. So that's finances D6, family D6, finesse D6, encrypted D4, and bodyguard D6. And I'm going to roll those, and I'm trying to beat a 10, right, and hopefully beat a 20.
You want to beat a 10? A 20 gets you a full success.
All right. So finances is a D6. That's 4. Family is a D6. That's 1. Ooh. Finesse is a D6. 5, nice. Okay.
Okay.
Encrypted phones, D4. That's 2. Bodyguard's a D6. Come on, Eddie. Make this a clean kill. That's a 1. Ooh, 13. So it's a success.
13. So this is a mixed success.
Okay.
So there's a few things that you can do here. If you want to push towards that full success.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, no, you can't. There's a few things that you can do while you're building your pool to get a better result. But all of these things happen before you roll.
Remember
for next time. You can choose to push yourself, which gets you more or larger dice. You can also sacrifice traits before you roll to add a d20 to your dice pool. But for now, we've pulled a mixed success.
Yeah.
Which means you're going to choose one of the following options.
Sure.
Are you going to mark 2 stress? Are you going to take some mental, physical, or spiritual toll? Are you going to mark a complication? This represents harm, promises, legal proceedings, etc. Are you going to knock back one of your traits, so shrink that dice size? Or is the job not complete and you need to continue the encounter?
I'm going to take a complication.
Okay.
I'm going to take a complication and I'm going to borrow from my own oeuvre. I'm going to say that there is an Interpol agent named Sterling who does not buy this murder at all.
Love that.
And he is going to be on my ass for anything else I do in Europe.
Love that. That's fantastic. There's something really great here of I think we get a visual of the visual I get for Sterling immediately because I can't resist the allure of a conspiracy board. It is the greatest visual that we have been given in my lifetime. There's got to be a visual of Sterling like in front of a conspiracy board, not just piecing together that there's more to this death, but piecing together that like there is something that is larger than meat that is happening here.
He's the detective in Dark City.
Yeah, exactly. Like your actions have started to expose the nature of corporate bodies to this Interpol agent. Hell yeah. Okay, great. You're also going to choose a success. You've got a mixed success. So you can clear all stress. If you had any existing conditions, you could clear them. So right now you can increase a trait.
Condition or complication?
A complication. Really too much power by the apocalypse. If I won't let you clear the complication you just got because I think that's unsatisfying. But you can increase one of your traits, or you can gain a corporate secret.
Gain a corporate secret sounds fun, and then I can add that to the sort of stuff I want, right?
Yeah, you add that to your future encounters with me as a company.
Oh yeah, that building that dice pool as you go further, 100%. That's what I want. Yeah.
I think what you find, I'm looking at the corporate secret that you earn. You get a D4, so you get to add an additional D4 to any interactions with meat. And what you have learned is how do we see this play out? I think that what we see take shape is like the murder is exposed. All of the lies are brought out, and it looks like this guy was on the take. You know, the plan has gone off. There's a few sloppy mistakes on the edges. Eddie has slipped up in a few spots that has tipped off Sterling, but I think you have seen, I think, as you see the fallout of this occur, the secret is that employees are being fired to cover up unethical behavior. Which has played into your hand perfectly because you set up a fall guy, and as a response, I think an entire team or an entire sub company is parted ways with, and how we visualize that. The phrase that has popped into my head for how I'm describing corporate bodies is just a good combination of words, which is a brutalist jellyfish.
Yeah.
A brutalist concrete jellyfish sheds one of its tendrils. It just severs and snaps off and rips off, and this tendril withers and dies as this corporation is kind of cut loose, ties are cut, sales are made and the people involved are kind of like left twisting in the wind.
Yeah, eventually what's left of them, it dissolves with a red black mark on their CV. They're picked up. Some of them are picked up.
Yeah.
Some of them never work in the field again. It's just, out into the waste they go.
Yeah.
Cool.
And you kind of watch this unfold a little bit.
Yeah. I now know that that's Meat's modus operandi. Like, I know that they will willingly and happily fire humans to cover up their stuff.
Which sets up the next. I flipped the first two encounters with Meat, and I feel very happy about it, especially knowing that secret. There's a unionization effort that is unfolding. Like, and I think it's actually happening in response to the shuttering of this sub brand. There is employee dissatisfaction that is like rocking through Meat, like as a multi company entity. Like, there is an opportunity to capitalize here. The question that I float to you is: are you helping organize the workers? Are you destabilizing their efforts? Like, what's Charlie's play here?
Well, as a member of the Writers Guild Board of Directors, I have to go pro-union.
I feel like I again, there's certain times where I knew the answer to the question before I asked.
But Charlie, I think this is what's happened, right? Like Charlie has seen, he's seen, in my head, this place is in Berlin. I don't know why.
Sure, let's go with it.
He's seen Victor Neustadt as his like fall guy, and Victor, and I'm drawing on a fairly amusing and grim anecdote from World War I, was the anti-union guy, one of the big anti-union guys. So by eliminating him, he has opened up a chance for unionization in this company, because a unionized company, in theory, Kane and Weaving can come in as a white knight and go, we love unionized companies. They're great. So we're on the workers' side, make that more attractive and kind of throw the leadership more off balance. And of course, by the way, the campaign I run, the contacts list of NPCs they've created is now at 50. It's insane.
That's great. I love this.
And so we just live in, that's just the campaigns I run. Like everybody, my first thing is to say to a player, the captain of the guard, tell me who they are and what their problem is. And then they just go on the list and they recur. And there was one campaign we did with this group. We came to the big fight with the big bad, which was literally the insane immortal Empress Anastasia teamed up with Dracula in the future. And we had two sidekicks, one of the characters, executive assistant, and sort of the young guard who had survived every single horrifying encounter and death. And they did not care about the finale at all. Like, they did not care about that battle. They were 100% do these two get out and get together. I'm like, I have spent 4 hours balancing these encounters. It's like, we just have to know if Jane and Ed get out. Like, okay.
Ain't that always how it goes, honestly?
So my thing going is like, there is a spunky union organizer, Lise Todt, and we are going to throw our support behind her. And so again, the sort of finances, I'm going to use finances again, and I know I'm going to this a lot, but it's one of his strong point.
Yeah.
And he uses finances to realize that the union is corrupt and we can suborn it.
Sure.
He uses finesse to let them know that we know, and we know, but we're not going to say we know as long as you do stuff that we never have to bring it up. I think that's fair. I don't think I'm going to use customer service a lot, but I think in this case, he will use family as opposed to family name, with the idea that it's not his personal celebrity. It's the fact that the Royce family believes in unionization and is happy to unionize all of the companies that it owns and runs.
Sure.
Royce means worker friendly. So I'm going to do that. D6. Also, I have faith. And so faith is like, I don't think the world has to be this bad a place. So I'm going to use that to, in one of those great scenes, those very slow horses moments where it's like, does Gary Oldman believe what he's saying, or is he just lying? He is
Sure.
100% going to meet with the union organizers and bare his soul about how he thinks that this place that the world can be redeemed through worker solidarity. That's why his family has always supported this. Even though we're rich, we know what the basis of wealth is. And you are never sure coming out of that scene whether it was his way of saying what he secretly believes to allies he can never confess to, or whether he was using his own pain to recruit these people.
That's great.
So
That
I'm going to
rips.
use Faith D6.
I am so excited. So there's a lot for me to play with because I on 2d8 rolled a 14.
Holy
Which means
smokes.
that the full success number is a 28. Basic success number is a 14. Obviously there's the standard.
I'm not done. So let me ask this. What's that push thing? Because I think I'm going to need that.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a few options you can do to push your dice roll a little bit higher.
Okay.
What you can do is you can push yourself to get more or larger dice. You can mark 2 stress and either add an additional copy of a dice in the pool or upgrade a dice temporarily by 1 size, so a D4 becomes a D6, etc. You can do one or the other. You can only push yourself once per action roll, and a die cannot get higher than a D12. So you can push yourself to upgrade one of your dice or add an additional dice, or you can sacrifice one of your traits. What that does is you break a bond, you destroy an item, you sacrifice a skill, you describe what that looks like, you mark 2 stress and add a 20-sided dice to your pool.
Woof. Interesting. I'm going to take 2 stress to upgrade faith. I'm going to double faith rather than upgrade it. Because I think that it is 100%. You should not know. Does Charlie mean this? Charlie, this is 100% the fact that I am winning them over by being, oh my God, the firstborn son of the company really, really believes in this.
Yeah. 100%.
So that is what I'm going to go with. And that's it. That's all I can push. And can I use the fact I know employees are fired to cover up unethical behavior to go is it 100%. Burned once I've used it, or do I just have it?
No, you can use it consistently throughout the process.
But it goes away when we move to a different company, right?
Correct.
Okay. So the reason I'm going to do that is because that's their grievance. That's I know that they're cutting you people loose for management's mistake, and that's not fair. That's not 100%. Fair. You people get laid off. All right. So I'm going to roll this. So I have a pool of finances to find out the union is corrupt, so I can kind of manipulate them, even though half the union I'm playing footsie with, I know you're hiding money in Antigua, and half the union I'm playing footsie with, we're all true believers here. And kind of playing both of those. So finances D6, finesse D6, family D6, faith 2d6, and their unethical business practices. They fire people. It's a D4. All right, let's roll this.
Let's roll some dice.
For finances, it's a 6. There you go. For finesse, it's a 1. Oof. For family, it's a D6. The 3. All right. For the first faith die, it's a 2. Not great. For the second faith die, it's a 3. And for unethical business practices, it is a 3. So the total is 18. So it is yet again a mixed success.
Mixed success. Okay. So again, we're going to pick one of each of these options, and we're going to, you can either continue with this encounter, you can decrease one of your traits, or you can mark a second complication, or you can mark 2 additional stress.
Oh, there's not a lot of stress. So if I continue the encounter, do I put together the same pool, a different pool? Is there a rule about the pool I have to do, or?
You will regroup and attempt the same thing again. You must repeat the same encounter. Pick new traits if you would like the action roll. So you'll need to describe a new approach, basically saying this approach didn't work. What are you going to try now?
Okay. Yeah, you know what? I am going to do I got to beat a 4. I beat a 14. I'm not going to beat a 28. You know what? I think I'm going to accept some complication here. So what am I going to? A 28 is steep. Let me hear the consequences again.
You can either mark 2 stress, you can decrease a trait, or you can mark a complication.
I am going to mark a complication, and I think. And I don't know when these complications come into play. You're going to have to tell me that.
They come into play. I can tell you right now, they come into play when you fill out 5 of them. that is the corporate body and or the situation getting to you, and you are killed or taken out of commission.
Ooh, that sounds very sexy. I am 100% going to take that complication. And the thing that's going to happen, again, I'm always going to tie it to a person,
Yeah,
is I 100% slept with Lise. And then she found out I was running a scam. And now she is working with independent reporters. She's up with, like, whatever the German independent reporters are, the not belling cats or whatever, to reveal that Kane and Weaving are actually the bad guys and don't believe in unionization at all. So I'm going to say
that rips.
Lise Todt is an enemy with press connections.
Yeah, that's great. And I think like adding to the like ticking clock of complications, ramping everything up as more complications get added to the field is we get like Sterling is deep in this investigation and is deep in like trying to dig into everything. And I think like Sterling is starting to unravel that things like facts about Kane and Weaving and about Meat, like facts about all of this don't fully make sense. And like it is like reality is starting to unravel as they are finding that the Royce family is closer and closer to the center of a conspiracy that doesn't make sense and doesn't seem to play by the rules of reality a little bit.
If we're doing the Netflix special, episode 6 is when Lisa's in a diner and suddenly Sterling like sits down opposite her. And like, 100%. I understand you know a guy named Charlie Royce. Like, yeah, absolutely. Cool. Yep. Okay, what's the next? Right. What's the next assignment with Meat?
A corporate officer has been embezzling funds. Will you make them disappear? Do you take advantage of the scam? What's the play? I think this is this is a loose end from shedding limbs related to the unionization effort, from shedding limbs related to the government investigation. There's a lot of money that is like left on the table, as I think what the play is here. Like there's a lot of money that is floating around, and that money is going somewhere.
Yeah.
But before we answer that, I realize you also get a benefit, and I don't want to miss out on that.
Oh, okay. What are the benefits?
Do you want to clear all stress? Do you want to clear a complication? Do you want to increase a trait or gain a second corporate secret?
I'll gain a separate corporate secret. Like the more I'm just going to hang out and I'm hanging out and Meat. So let me find out more about them.
Great. Good. There is, how do we frame this corporate secret? Cause it's juicy as all hell. I think you had mentioned that like, this lab, this research firm that got shed by Meat. Some people got absorbed. Some people like never worked in the field again. I think like we see a news report as you are in one of these meetings, like we see it on a TV that like a small number of employees just went missing. They just disappeared off the face of the earth. They just as far as the world can tell, they no longer exist. And I think there is a moment where, this is I think an end of an episode sequence is like Charlie is going back to his hotel room, is walking through this like bleak warehouse / glamorous hotel, and like something attacks him, and it's like a real big shocking kind of moment of violence, and Eddie kind of has to like grab them, and like what it is very clearly, I think like what it is very clearly is like a mutated person in a visceral way, and we get that peak like American Psycho kind of like, did this happen? No one has reacted to this except for Charlie and Eddie, and it's this whole like which of this is really happening, which of this is only visible to Charlie because of his perception of the world. The secret is that Meat is using humans for scientific experiments. They are turning people into something in service of their corporate body.
Experiments. Isn't that a D4?
That is a D6.
That's a good secret.
It kicks things up a notch.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we've got embezzling going on at the company.
Yes.
And it seems to me, I'm trying to make sure that this company is set up for Canaan Weaving to merge with it and take it over. And it's got bad publicity that we've protected it and made it still a juicy takeover, but it has been damaged by the uranium thing. We have ingratiated ourselves with the workers by setting up the union. I think this is the secret we reveal to punish, to blackmail the upper level.
Yeah, that feels great.
So this is what I think I'm going to do because I haven't used it yet. I'm going to use customer service, which I haven't used yet at D4, because what I want to do is customer service and the exec thing is interesting, but what it basically is able to interact with consumers. Like, I think what his customer service here is figuring out the pattern of who's missing and what products are the like. Wow, we've got a bunch of complaints about X. I should figure out if this is linked in any way, shape, or form to these horrible scientific experiments. It's a little thin, but customer service is the weird.
That feels good. No, that feels great.
I will use the encrypted phone to set up the meeting with the various and sundry upper level guys that I need to get rid of. I'm going to have Eddie, my bodyguard, go out and catch another one of these things so I can present it at the corporate meeting. Like, I know what you guys have been up to. Here's one of them.
Love this.
Yeah. Or I will, again, I think, use my, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to push. What happens if I knock Faith down to a D4?
If you knock Faith down, I don't think you can knock. I don't think anything happens if you knock it down. I think like you can bump it up. You can bump it up one dice size or add an additional dice. Add additional D6 or bump it up to D8.
For your luck? What's the cost for pushing? Like, how do I get
pushing is cost is 2 stress.
Okay, I thought there was a bunch of other stuff. Okay, you know what? I am gonna spend those 2 stress. And when I push my luck, how do I add that D20? Because I think I'm going to need it.
You can sacrifice a trait. So this is when you you permanently mark something off of your character sheet.
You know what? I am 100% going to burn. I'm going to burn customer service, not just because it's not useful, but like basically, he realizes he's lost his touch. Like he goes out and talks to people, but like his ability to talk to normal humans is going away as he sort of hangs out in the corruption.
I was going to say, I think it's very much in that sense of like, you are now playing in a world that does not, like, if you tried to, it is the experience of being in a job for 20 years and trying to explain that job to someone. Yeah. It's just your job is also Lovecraftian horror.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to roll
D6. So you roll the difficulty, and then I'll talk about the pool.
And so you have permanently struck your customer service, which means in addition to all the other dice, you're adding a D20 to your pool. And I'm going to roll because this is one of the higher level encounters with me. I'm going to roll a D10 as well as a D8. So that is a 13. So the number that you want to beat is a 26.
It would be a 13. Okay. So the pool here is the last of my customer service as I endeavor to talk to customers and track down what's gone on, and it fails miserably. And I just have that moment. It's very Better Call Saul. It's very the moment where you're like, no, man, you're too far gone. You can't talk to normal people anymore. You can just see the deadness in your eyes. I've got my encrypted phone at D4. Eddie's helping me out because he grabs one of the mutated creatures. We go to one of these scientists' homes and we grab it when it comes home to see his son. And all his son sees is Eddie dragging a shadowy form out of the backyard, and Daddy never comes home. This is grim. I've sacrificed customer service to get the D20, and I'm using the secret. Also, I'm going to use both secrets because these are the people you fired. To do this. Okay, so let's see. Customer service in D4. Is a 2. Nice. Encrypted phone at D4 is a 4. All right, here we go. Looks like we're going well here. Bodyguard. Eddie's out there doing my dirty work for me. At a 2, not bad. I've sacrificed customer service, so let's drop that D20. Come on. A 2 on a D20.
Oh no! Oh,
man.
that's brutal.
Yeah. It shows experiments, and the 2 corporate secrets are a D6 that they're doing experiments on their employees, and they're firing people. They're cutting them loose. Is a D4. So what did I want to beat? I had to beat a 26.
You have a 13 for a mix, 13 for a mixed success, 26 for a full success.
I squeaked that out. I got a 14. I barely
14, great.
That. Yeah.
I think what that 2 represents really truly is like you in burning customer service. I think there is absolutely a moment where we've seen so much of Charlie playing that role of, you know, it's almost a mirror to the interaction that you had with the Union of, we can't tell if Charlie is being genuine. We can't tell if he believes what he's saying or if he's playing the game.
Yeah.
There is a moment that I think that 2 on that D20 represents to me a moment where we can tell, where we see a little bit of that genuine come through, because you're kind of explaining the reality of like a deeply horrific cosmic situation to like people who are fully tapped into the Matrix. And it's like no, you don't understand. They are turning people into fucked up zombie monsters, and they're like, that's nothing. You're saying nothing.
You know what I like here is the idea that in like a moment of weakness, because he was connecting with one of the relatives of the missing people, he actually tried to tell them some element of the truth. And it just backfired on him. And instead of getting the help he wanted by sharing with them, they shut him out because it was too weird and horrifying what he was saying. And so that's why
that fucks so hard.
That's why we had to like, there's a great sequence of like Eddie and Charlie Royce like hiding in the kids' play castle out back, waiting for the mutated dad to come home so they can grab him before he can get in the house.
Yeah.
Just like this grim, think sort of like skinny, meth tattooed Mike from Better Call Saul as Eddie. Like, definitely.
Yep.
So he barely squeaked that out again. Oh, man, his luck is he's just barely squeaking these out. So, yeah, what are our consequences?
You had burned one of or decreased your corporate secret, or you had a different pitch?
I burned customer service. And I don't know if those corporate secrets count as traits. I don't know. I'd have to check, and it doesn't feel fair because I know they
go away. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I think we can say it's got to be one of the non-corporate secrets.
Yeah. So I'm gonna burn. I'm gonna decrease Eddie to D4.
Okay.
Because I think like he signed up for this, but didn't sign up for this. So he's starting to be a little less effective. Maybe he's using again. I don't know, but he's definitely starting to rattle a little around the edges.
Can I throw in a moment that rattles Eddie very deeply? I think there's absolutely a sequence like after this, like the 2 of you part ways, and a little bit about like what the mutated experiments are is like. I'm getting the visual in my head, and I think this ties into like what happens to Eddie a little bit is like doomsday spikes from Superman, like the bone shards.
Yeah.
And I think like we get the moment, we see everything go off largely according to plan, and then like there's a moment where like Eddie steps away to the bathroom and like kind of does the like scratch of an itch under his neck, and slowly like a bone shard or like a spike just kind of emerges.
That great little indie. I think Shea Wiggum was his first big breakthrough. Remember that Splinter, that great little horror movie?
Sure.
It's got a diner. Yep. Yeah, it's that vibe. It's like, is that organic? Is that bone? Is that alien? What the hell is that?
It's something. Yeah, and it's the moment of like he after going out and hunting like a bone shard covered soldier experiment. Finding one of them under his neck, it's like, oh fuck, am I an experiment? Like, was I part of this? Like, that's the thing that has rattled him.
Cool. Yeah, cool. Eddie's down to a D4. Cool. All right, what's the next one? What's the next one up on this company? Do you want to hop companies? You want to keep going?
I think we'll ride this through. I think we'll make it. We'll ride this through. We'll see Meat to the end because I think it's getting good and weird, and I think I want to play in this space. A group, because the final 2 encounters for Meat really go hard.
Yeah. What did I get?
Secret...
What did I get as a benefit from that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What did you get? Do you want to clear a complication, clear your stress, or gain a secret?
Do I clear 2 stress or all stress?
You would clear all stress.
I'll clear all stress.
Okay, great. Your second to last encounter in Meat. A group of researchers are trying to extract fluids from the company's monstrous body.
No, that's a bad idea. Do not do that.
That escalated fast.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
I think the visual that we see to start this off is like after the meeting that you had where you confronted everyone, you showed the signs of the experiment. There is like a panicked group of like investors on an elevator talking about like, we'll fire the entire department, shut it down, like in line with how they handle threats. And then they step off of it, and there is like shades of it's the Futurama's referencing, but like shades of like the giant slug that Slurm comes from is like they step off of an elevator and there's just a room with a colossal slug that they're draining things from. And
this has a vibe if it was a corporation instead of a government agency of Control. Did you play Control?
Yep, very Control.
Yeah, it's just like, oh man, it's just this elevator comes up to corridor that ends in a room with a chair and a phone and a big black empty space. Weird. Mm-hmm. What's up with that? Yeah.
Yeah, and there's just a gigantic slug, and they're like, make sure nobody gets any photos. Like we've already lost Operation Bone Spur. We can't lose the precious fluid.
Yeah. Okay. I know exactly how I'm going to play this. Because I'm going to separate the corporation from its members. I'm going to breach the relationship between the two of them. So I'm going to use finances to find the weakest member of the team and bribe them and win them over. I'm going to use finesse to try to convince them that we're trying to do the same thing. Like we're trying to like get some samples from our horrible, unspeakable fluid. Like we're all pals here, buddy, because I want to know all about how you're doing this. I'm going to use the encrypted phone to coordinate with my family, which is incredibly powerful. I'm not going to use the family name. Oh, actually, we'll use the family name because if I say we're doing something in the best interest of the corporation, of course they believe me. I'm a Royce. We all found it. So I'm using both family name and family here. Family. Okay. D6. And you know what? So what I'm going to use that encrypted phone to get to, and here's where I'm going to use faith. And this is weird. I don't know if this matters, but this is a combination of family and faith. You tell me. There are things that can hurt these corporations. And what he does is using his encrypted phone, and he gets from his family one of these things. And the reason faith is involved is like, he has done his research, like the whole belief that it doesn't have to be like this. He has gone and found like the ancient Assyrian texts that weirdly, and talked to the priest who occasionally has to go cry after his confessions, and found like the way to create essentially a poison, like a neurological information virus. And I think he's going to use, because they're using failed human experiments. He's going to use that failed experiments. Because what he's going to do is he's going to use biological material from the experiments, from like the dead experiment that they got, to create this poison. He's going to give it to the member of the group that he suborned. They're going to use it to extract the material, but it will basically be like using a septic scalpel. They will then infect the corporation with memetic cancer, information yellow fever, whatever this might be.
I love it. The number that you got to beat is
sepsis.
The number that you have to beat is a 12.
12.
24 gets you a full success.
24 gets me a full success. All right. Finances D6 to figure out which one of these guys they can suborn. That's 5. Finesse to talk them into doing it. That is 2. Encrypted phone on a D4 is a 3. The family name and family are a 2 and a 6. Faith is a D6. And then the failed experiments is a D6. What was I looking for?
You want a 12 to beat it? 12 is a mixed success. 24 is a full success.
Yeah, 26 as a full success.
There it is. I love that this is a full success. And I think you have severed the ties. I think it all goes exactly according to plan. And I think that we zoom out, right? Like we zoom out, especially as we head into our final encounter of today's game. Like we zoom out. And we see the jellyfish, the concrete brutalist jellyfish, like thrashing about, no longer tethered to the world through people. With one exception, because your final encounter, and we'll go through benefits in a moment as I set up the final encounter. Your employer wishes to merge with the company, and I think we see this is our season episode before season finale reveal that the person at the head of Meat is Lyra Royce, is also the reveal that the family goes further than maybe even you realized is the thing that I want to throw in of how much of this is tied to the family.
Yeah.
And so in terms of benefits, you can increase one of your traits. So increase that dice size.
Okay.
You get to do all of the things whenever you get a full success.
Okay. So I get to do all this.
Yeah, you clear your stress, you clear a complication, you increase the stress, and you get a corporate secret.
So first of all, I already had no stress because I cleared that out last time. Okay, so I get to boost one of these traits.
Yep.
I'm gonna boost family name. I'm gonna boost that to an 8 because I'm relying on it a lot. I'm relying on the fact he's one of the founding members.
Yeah.
But I don't think Royce's name gets more powerful, but he gets to be like, oh yeah, that's the hot shit Royce who's out there making deals and handling stuff. What was the other stuff?
You get to clear a complication.
I will clear the most powerful complication. I will clear Sterling because what happens is he is this close to figuring stuff out and he has pursued me to a meeting and I begged him not to come. And in the moment that the thing is poisoned, it reveals itself and it shatters his sanity. And he just steps off a roof.
It's such a good season-long arc of watching him unravel and watching him piece it together and get closer and closer. And it's a don't walk through that door horror moment of if you walk into that meeting, you're gonna see it for what it is, and you are not equipped to handle this.
Yeah, great. And what are the other ones? What are the other benefits?
You get your final thing is you get a D8 corporate secret of managers selling drugs and medicine under the table. As you are prepping this, you are doing
considering as opposed to using your people for experiments.
It feels like those should be reversed, and I'm a little surprised. And I think I want to escalate it into what you have found. I think I'm gonna ramp this up and say the D8 here is that there is an ecosystem of Meat has provided a medicine of these chemicals are serving corporate bodies. It is not just that they are producing medicine for people, they are producing medicine for corporate bodies. And there is an ecosystem of the medicine that is providing sort of the immune system of all corporate bodies.
All right, cool. And anything else on that win?
That's it. Those are the 4. Cool. And we come to our final encounter. I'm going to grab my D12.
D12 and a D8. Holy shit. Okay.
It is time for the merger. Let me roll these dice. That's a 12, but that is a 12 and a 3. That is a 15 for a mixed success and a 30 for a full success.
15 and a 30 for a full. Okay. So this is the big
one.
So I'm going to use, wow, it's tough because, and you're suggesting that's another Royce. It's like another cousin that's in charge.
I think there's a reveal. Yeah. There's a reveal that there is a Royce at the head of Meat, which is a thing that you have learned dramatically.
Yeah. I think, just I can justify. I'm going to burn all of them. I'm going to use all the corporate secrets to start with. I'm going to use the
Great.
employees are fired to cover up unethical behavior. In order to go, I'm going to go to a bunch of people who are fired and get like an assembly of secrets from them that I
Yeah.
can use. Meat is using humans for secret experiments, 100%. I'm going to make it seem like this group that is making these secret drugs was also involved with that and almost fucked it up. So to undermine the
Yeah.
faith in. And I'm going to use the fact that I know they're making secret drugs for the other corporations and that's going to come into play, and I'll tell you why. So that's just D4, D6, and D8. Okay. And then I'm going to use family, and this time family, not family name, but family, because I use the reputation of the family to spread to the other members of the family that this branch, this cousin is screwing up. That's why their corporate body was poisoned. You can't trust anything that they're doing. You have got to let our branch of the family take it over. It's the only way to keep these drugs for the other corporate bodies safe. So I'm going to do that. In that case, I think encrypted phone 100% for my scheming and planning. Finances, I think that absolutely comes into play because I am assembling the merger. I'm assembling the various and sundry, stuff that comes in. And then, do you remember on Deadwood when the thug, it's when, what's his name? The railroad man is in town. Basically, eventually, Swearingen's thug and the other killer like head off in the street. Like basically, eventually, there is a moment when all of this shit is going down that she tells her guy to kill me, and you have a great parking garage shootout between Eddie and her thug.
Yeah, that's
there you go. So I think that's what I got here. So I'm trying to beat a 15, and I want to get
15 is a mixed
30.
15 is a mixed success. A 30 is a full success.
Yeah. I was going to burn Eddie for that D20, but I just don't think, I don't think I want to do that. I think this might be a chance for Eddie and I to heal our relationship.
Yeah.
These are the corporate secrets: a D4, a D6, and a D8. All right. Those total 12. Okay. So we're already in good shape.
Okay.
We're D6 on the family. We're D4 on the encrypted phone. That's a 6. That's a 4. Holy smokes. That's D6 on the finances to assemble the finances necessary for the buyout. I don't think I'm going to make it. 25. I'm not going to make it. There's no way to make it. D4 on Eddie. All right, buddy, let's go. Shoot, I'm going to come up one short, am I? I did. I came out one short. 29.
Yep. I knew it. Okay. Since this is our final showdown of the game, like I know the closing moments of our season. I know the closing thing that we see.
So this is the thing, is what this is a mix is of corporate stuff going in the foreground and actual supernatural horror bullshit going on in the background.
Yeah.
Like corporate body absorbing this other corporate body that has been cut loose, gunfights in the hallways, my cousin trying to stab me with a letter opener, that type of thing.
And the final thing that we see, the big everything happens. We get this absorption of 2 colossal concrete jellyfish. We watch it. And like this is happening while you and Lyra are having like you're like having a hallway fight with letter openers and smashing each other with staplers. And finally there's a moment where like the 2 of you are like seated, bloodied, beaten down in a hallway, and like you see out of the window the final like sucking like absorption of one jellyfish into another as Cain and Weaving finish its merger with meat. And there is this moment as the 2 of you look at this window where like there's a moment of calm, right? There's this beat of you're both seated, you're both bloodied, one eye is closed, and like there's this moment of like they're sitting, and Lyra kind of like looks at this and goes like, "You did good. I mean, the family might be yours yet." And she stands up and like adjusts her jacket and does her hair just as a gigantic concrete tendril bursts through a window and grabs her as the head of the corporation and like gruesomely pulls her into the abyss, revealing the end season beat reveal that like the end of this will end in the person in charge is going to get sucked into the nightmare abyss.
I also like that's it. That's the credits, and then the credit tag is Charlie still sitting in that chair. He hasn't moved, and because he got the 4, the door just slams open, and like a bloodied Eddie comes running in with his gun up, thinking there's still shit to do. And Charlie's like, "It's done, man. It's over. It's over." He had his fight sequence right back there. He won, and Charlie's like, and Eddie's like, "Anything I can do?" And Charlie says, "There's nothing any of us can do." And then you're out for the season. See you in 2 years because we're on a streaming schedule.
Fuck yeah, that ripped. I love that game. That was amazing.
This is a fun game. This is a ton of fun. I will say the pool rules are a little loose. I will say it feels like there must be tighter pool rules in there somewhere. But like all of the storytelling elements, all of the problems, like I 100% see you could get like 5 fun sessions out of this. Like each one of those being a week or playing 2. It took us an hour. So playing like 2 companies a night, like you can get some good entertainment value, and you could also 100% expand this. Like
100%. Like each of those could have been an entire session of play of like building the pool one action at a time, taking your time, really like leading into and exposing the horror of it all. Yeah. This hit. What was your favorite moment from play?
I think it was, for me, that feel. It wasn't a moment, it was a tone. It was that feeling of, like you're like it makes a bunch of little stories. It doesn't make one story. Like each one of these bits feels distinct and different.
Yeah.
And I think coming up just short there kills me. That actually genuinely,
that was great. That
was only like the only thing better than an almost success is a brutal failure. I will say, my house system is Savage Worlds, and the reason I love Savage Worlds is because you always roll 2 dice, sometimes a few more, but almost always 2 dice. And Snake Eyes, although it's not exactly the rules as written, it's my adaptation of the rules. Whatever the most interesting thing that can go wrong does go wrong.
Oh, sure.
And it's not the worst thing. Like, it's not just, my gun explodes in my hand or something. It's just whatever. And that's my all the campaigns I've run with it have entirely been defined by Snake Eye results. Like, and that's when a system has a good failure state. That's really, for me, what a great, good system is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure if you fail one of these, you just pay a horrible price and keep going on to the next thing, right? Like you just struggle.
You pay. Yeah. What happens if you fail is you pay all 4 of the consequences at once. So you take stress, a complication, you lose a trait or you reduce a trait, and then you just have to try the encounter again.
Yeah, that's great. Cool. Yeah, I'm 100% going to try this again. I think this is fun. I think with like an Oracle sheet, you could make this solo play in a heartbeat. Yeah. I think there's just a lot of great stuff in this game. Congratulations to the folks who made it.
So, Merger was written and designed by Michael Elliott. You can find the game at notwriting.itch.io. It is the epitome of just like a cool, weird thing that you find on itch, and it defines your entire world.
I will say, like, as a guy who probably has run the longest running corporate malfeasance heist show on American television, I dig your take on corporate malfeasance, and I think people should check this out.
What an endorsement. I love this.
Season 6, this is where season 6 of Leverage would have gone. We would have found out that they were actually immortal Cthulhu monsters and then just jumped right into that.
God, I wish. Fuck. Real quick, before we wrap up, where can people find you online?
I am on Blue Sky at John Rogers. I have a I have a button-down newsletter, Kung Fu Monkey, which you can find also off of my Blue Sky link, or just looking for me on Button Down. And I'm just always kicking around. I'm doing podcasts and stuff like that, and keep an eye out for the graphic novel, hopefully next year, depending on the schedule of my actual real work.
Love to hear this. This was a blast. I'm over the moon. For now, I'm going to throw it over to me in the future so that he can wrap up with the show.
Cool. Had a lovely time. Thank you so much for having me on, Jeff.
Oh, that's such a pleasure. Take it, future Jeff. Thanks, Past Me. And thanks again to John for coming on to the show. Sometimes you just know. You know, like sometimes you sit down and you can look at a game and look at a guest and go, we are going to create something astounding here. We are going to have a conversation and create a moment in time that is going to shine like a beacon, and that is exactly what we did here, and I could not be more grateful and happy about it. Be sure to check the show notes for more information about John's work, including a link to his newsletter. Be sure to head to notwriting.itch.io to pick up your own copy of Merger, and be sure to follow John on social media at johnrogers.bsky.social. And while you're on social media, you can follow us on whatever platform you're on at Party of One Podcast. Another thing that you can do to support the show is sign up for our newsletter at buttondown.com/Party of One Podcast. The newsletter gives you a monthly roundup of new episodes, spotlights on games and guests, announcements on promotions and guest appearances and live shows, and long-form thoughts about just the making of the podcast on a week-to-week basis. You can find all of that and more at buttondown.com/Party of One Podcast. And one other thing that you could do if you enjoyed this episode, if you have a favorite moment that really jumped out at you as something special, send it to us in the form of an iTunes review or a Spotify comment. Go onto your podcatcher of choice and leave us a review. Tell me what that moment was. I'm going to read some of them on mic in future episodes. It's great for me. It makes me feel like the show is being seen and being heard, and also blatantly. iTunes reviews are a very easy way for me to like show legitimacy of the show in front of guests and when pitching the show. So you're helping me out, and also you're giving me a nice moment where I get to read a nice message from a listener on air. If you enjoyed the show, check out our sister podcast, All My Fantasy Children, a character creation, storytelling, and world-building podcast inspired by tabletop RPGs, in which my best friend and I create a character every single week based on your listener prompt, and we use it to populate a shared world, one story at a time. You can find All My Fantasy Children wherever you get your podcasts. Party of One is, as always, produced and edited by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank. All music for the show comes from the song Infinite Lives by MERGER featuring the D&D Sluggers, and the Party of One logo is by Evan Rowland. If you're interested in guesting on the show, advertising on the show, featuring a game on the show, doing press coverage of the show, or you have a baked good recipe that you want to share with me, you can email me at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. No one has ever taken me up on that last one, and frankly, I'm a little resentful. And, unless I am mistaken, I believe that's all we do here, so until next time, thank you so much for listening. Remember to fight the forces of fascism every single day. Remember that self-love and self-care are radical and defiant acts of resistance, and as always, party on, everybody.